all right. Welcome back, members. And today's guest, as we continue brainstorming about his candidacy, is, or rather candidature, is Engineer Marambe. And before we left for a break, we were talking about registration of members, right from school, universities, and up to G and P registration process, and how he will be able to tackle the registration, the low numbers of members at IEK, and how to improve visibility of IEK, especially to students, so that they know more about the society and know more about IEK, or rather the regulator, Engineers Board of Kenya. So right now, before other members come in with questions, I would like us to talk about, Engineer, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I can hear you. Okay. I would like us to talk about CPD, and it will be good if you can give us the meaning of CPD, because if you look at the CPD UK, the definition for CPD is, and the reason as to why it is provided is to improve, or rather to attract members to be active in a particular events, and it's called, and sometimes it's called active learning. So far in Kenya, we don't have a structured CPD. We are mostly going for events. So, Engineer, how will you come up with or rather come up with this, help the society to come up with structured CPDs, which will attract members to be active in the society's events, and also to improve, because CPD is majorly supposed to improve the, how do they call it? To improve,
continuously improve the member.
Yeah, to ensure that members do not become redundant. They continuously improve their knowledge in a particular area of interest, especially, say, for example, for us engineers, mostly we will always want to improve on the technology in the market that is there, depending on your field, and always to have to be improved, to improve your skills on safety, occupational health and safety, to improve on soft skills. Mostly Kenyan engineers, we are not even vocal. We can't go out and speak publicly on issues that are affecting us. So how will you help the society to come up with well-structured CPD program? If you had a chance to look at, say, for example, Ghana Institution of Engineers, they had a well-structured, and it's in a calendar from January to December. There's a calendar.
Yes, thank you. Let me try to answer on the CPD, because I'm also a PMP, and in PMP you actually need CPDs to renew your 3-year annual certificate. Yes, license. And I'm also a member of AE. They also require CPDs. And I can tell you the CPD policy that we have under IEK is a good structure. The only thing has been the implementation has been poor, because CPD policy by EBK considers everything: education, networking. It considers continuous learning. Even it also recognizes mentorship, recognizes your work. So long as you've also been working, it means your knowledge is increasing. So the CPD policy is good. And remember, we don't have to all of us do the same things so that you can earn your 50 annual CPD points. What CPD policy should be encouraging is, we have a structure, and they say out of the 50 CPD points, for education, you will get a maximum of 15. For mentorship, you will get a maximum of, let's say, 10. For for working if you are a practicing engineer, because you can be going to school but you're not practicing, then it means you're also actually not practicing the engineering. So why should you be given the annual license? So there should be somewhere you're giving your work, whether in practice or teaching or wherever. So I've read through the policy, because I read through it when I was applying for my CPDs, and I thought first of all it was thorough like the PMP one. So the structure is well structured. The problem has been, and this one I also blame the Kenyans. Kenyans, we all know, we like to commercialize
everything. Yeah.
Kenyans now have come up with you attend a 1-day training, you are given 20 points. You attend a 5-day training, you are given 10 points. So it doesn't make. So the problem for me on my side, I think, is IBK hasn't been able to implement the CPD policy the way it is written. If they implement the CPD policy the way it is written, you will be able to, when you go for a training, let's say, so that you can be able to get CPDs, you'll be able to get quality trainer, quality content, and you also learn a lot of things out of it. And it should be cost effective, so that I don't pay 80,000 to attend a CPD event or a training event where I'm better off than even the trainer. You attend a FIDIC seminar, and somebody who's training you on FIDIC, you are even better than them. Or you attend, I'm an energy engineer, you get engineers who are in the manufacturing sector, you are training them about energy efficiency, and yourself, you are not well qualified in energy efficiency. That is the problem I've seen with the CPD policy. IBK allowed entrepreneurs to come and offer CPD events, which should disqualify. And then a lot of engineers didn't read through the CPD policy themselves, so that they know how they.
Engineer? Hello? Hello? Hello, engineer?
Them who have directly. So the CPD structure is okay. What EBK needs to do is to weed out the people who are trying to commercialize CPD. If we do that, the CPD structure has a good intention. The intention is to make engineers continue learning and be on top of the game. So that one, I think the structure is okay for me. They need to weed out the entrepreneurs who are commercializing the CPD thing. Yes, any question?
Do you think the CPDs are commercialized under EBK's watch, because somehow they have been allowing even for like the CPDs are expensive, even those that have been accredited by IEK. I remember there was one CPD that was, I think it was 2018 late or 2019 early. I can't recall clearly, but it was like 200 and something thousand for 3 days or 4 days.
Yes.
And it was accredited. It was accredited by EBK.
Yes, I have no issue with attending a training for 200,000.
Yes.
The issue is the content and the quality of the training.
Yes.
Because we have attended a lot of trainings that cost 180,000 and above.
Yes.
But do you get value for your money? That is
yes.
the question.
Yes.
And then you see, like
I've remembered, yeah. Engineer. It was about fiber communication, and yeah. I'm a telecommunication person, so I would have really wanted to go. And what they're going to teach, I looked at the content. It's something that I went through. What is called Introduction for Fiber Optics Communication, and the content was going. The content was going for 200 and something thousand.
That is my point. The quality and the content. That is we need to. I think ABK didn't have capacity to check on the providers. They applied to be providers of CPD events, but they didn't have the capacity to check. And this is what we will try to lobby. so that all the CPD offers, unless it is there are trainings that are internationally recognized, and those ones you cannot offer kienyeji. But unless, if you're offering training locally, with a local content, it should be able to be vetted so that the people attending the training will have value for money. But otherwise, the structure for CPD is good. EBK, what we need to lobby with them, and which is what I'm trying to, which is what I will do under the mentorship committee if I get into there, because I want to still serve under the mentorship committee. Is we'll push for this content and the quality of CPD training, and we'll also try to tell engineers, it's not a must for you to go for these trainings for you to get CPDs. You can attend one training and get the rest of the CPDs from other events, attending annual cocktails, attending and this, even under PMP, I'm telling you, we have annual monthly events where you get a point for attending the monthly event, because you are learning. We have speakers, we have people who are sharing about the entrepreneurship journey. We have people who are sharing about what they did in their company that improved their manufacturing. We have people that showcase what is happening in the road sector. So it is a learning opportunity. But we'll try and weed out. I know EBK is under the learning curve, but we will weed those commercializers out.
All right. So in short, you're saying that you'll try to collaborate better through the council, of course, with EBK, so that we have quality CPDs.
Yes. But I support CPDs. That one I support, because it improves.
Exactly. I know the policy at EBK is super, but I'm only worried about the well-structured and how can I put it? And well scrutinized program that will add value to the people, to the professional engineers in the society.
Yes, implementation of the policy
and the
that
implementation.
Is what we need done.
Because I looked at the CPDs in Ghana and in Nigeria, and I found out that even in Ghana and Nigeria, they have a professor offering CPD from University of Toronto. Well-structured CPD, and there's a calendar of events, so that we don't offer things haphazardly, like engineers day is coming, something from nowhere comes up and people are getting 9 points for attending it. It's a good thing because member made active about it. And infrastructure score day, the amount for 2 days is 20,000 Kenya shillings. How many engineers were able to attend?
That is what we are talking about. That is what we are talking about. This structure should be given. There should be a proper calendar, the quality, and even because CPD should be earned on the quality of what you are getting and the time input also. Exactly. So it is very important. You can't attend a one-day event, you get 25 points, and someone else attends a training for 5 days and is given how many points? Let's say
five or even the same.
So those are the issues. Myself, I know about CPDs, so this is something I will push for it. Don't worry.
All right. Now let's go to the questions about the way EBK, Engineers Board of Kenya, and IEK are married. People have been having an idea that we should have, we should separate the two so that they become independent fully, but interdependent at the same time. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because now it is mandatory for one to join EBK, and upon getting to EBK, the structure is silent about when should I join IEK for graduate engineer, or should I just wait and let me just apply to, when I'm ready to apply for corporate membership, let me just wait and then apply. Because you see, there's many graduate engineers have not applied to IEK, I think because of that, because the act is silent. It only mandates you have to go to EBK upon graduation. You get the idea? And then we have craft technicians, technologists in another body that is under the Ministry of Education. What is your thinking about merging the two and having them under one regulator, so that because all these people cannot work independently. An engineer will depend on technologists and technicians on the ground, in as much as he or she designs the structure and supervises it. You get the idea? So yes. How will you tackle the animosity that is there right now after the others were moved out of EBK and they were left in the cold, and then they formed another body to regulate them? Will you champion for you petitioning the parliament to review the whole thing, like the way Engineer Ohaga and Engineer Uma are talking about, or what is your approach?
Okay, Engineer, first of all, it was unfortunate that the previous leadership in engineering let this happen, because it is basically dividing engineers. And what we're trying to do is to come together so that we can ring fence our face, our profession. We've seen a lot of attack. You know, the Kenyan economy is 3 trillion. 1 trillion goes to infrastructure projects. And when you get 80% of foreigners coming to do these projects, and they lock out local engineers using just foreign engineers to do the work. So what was required is engineers needed to be together. But we all know that there was a lot of animosity, and EBK was not able to register technologists and all that. They also locked out this unaccredited universities, and it has created animosity, and technologies were able to go and copy paste the EBK Act, and they got it accredited. It passed through the parliament, and now they have the Technologist Act, which is exactly the same as the Engineers Act. But what needs to happen is we need to have a framework of working with other institutions, not just the technologies. We have fraternities coming up, like the Kenya National Union of Engineers, which we need to work with. You know very well, the society uses a lot of technical lobbying to get its way when they need something from the government. But if you had a union, it will work in terms of putting engineers united. So, and these are the things we are saying. The leaders and the leadership, I'm hoping in the 2020-2022 council will be able to come up with a framework of working with these other institutions, and make sure all engineers are one, and we work together towards a common goal. If we are united, we'll go places. But if we start fighting each other, then the foreigners will have a field day in our country. And as you have also said, the IEK is intertwined with EBK. But you know, there is a constitutional review that is being done, that was being done. They weren't able to finalize the constitution. But these are the things that were supposed to come out of the constitution. And there's a lot of also lobbying so that EBK can remove that clause that you have to be a member of IEK for you to be a PE. But you appreciate that these measures were put in place to make sure engineers are united. So we'll try and see and find a way in which we can form amicable situations so that engineers were united. There's been a lot of visibility recently since 2016, 2018, and we need to continue the same so that we can work together and make sure we have a lot of opportunities. Let us stay united so that we create a lot of opportunities. Engineers should not be paid 20,000 in this country. A graduate engineer should not be paid 15,000 in this country. Why should that happen? Why should that happen? And we are running an economy of almost 1 trillion. So it's very unfortunate, but we'll do it through the policies and through the constitution. We'll do our best to make sure we change these issues.
All right. I see my friend Lawrence has raised his hand. Lawrence, do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Please go ahead.
My question is simply to ask Engineer Marambe, how is going to improve the linkage between industry and university? I know most of the time they go for mentorship sessions with students, but necessarily, again, I would say that is not really the problem. The problem is engineers graduate, they go to the field, they do their own things. When they get graduates from the university, they keep saying that they are not fully baked, meaning that whatever they are studying in university is not necessarily applicable in the industry, and vice versa is true. So what are you going to do personally to ensure that those engineers who are in the field always go back to university or are in positions where they can influence the curriculum and say, yes, I studied this in 1990, but today it is no longer applicable. For example, we civil engineers are taught C++ in university. In this 21st century, it is, yes, it is still applicable, but it is not what engineers are using at the moment. So how are you going to improve that connection of where engineers in the industry have that linkage and influence curriculums in the university? And my question ends there.
Thank you, Lawrence. First of all, there's a program, the Graduate Engineering Internship Program under the Engineers Act, which is supposed to promote engineers. Once they graduate, they're supposed to get a place where they start their training and they're able to get industry experience. Of course, we know our universities, they give us the principles, and no engineer graduates from the university knowing what they're supposed to practice. You only gain it through attachment, and after graduation, you're supposed to do your internship. So what we need to do is, IEK has started, but they have not implemented it fully. And this also comes back to the question that our industry has been invaded, our profession has been invaded. If we find a way of ring-fencing our profession so that we have a lot of opportunities, local engineers have a lot of work, so that even when you're graduating from school, there's somewhere you're going for internship directly, and you're able to get a job directly after that. And you will gain the necessary experience that you need to. We all know when you graduate from university, you just have the engineering principles. You can't practice immediately. You need to work under someone, whether be it he has a PE or not, but they will have the experience in the industry. So for me is we need to push the graduate engineering program so that graduates have internship immediately they finish university. And how do we do this? Let us please ring-fence our society by being on the table. Let us proactively be in policy making. Let us commit ourselves to serve in the societies so that we come up with the solutions and policies that create opportunities for us. In the Energy Act, let us make sure no foreigner is coming to do something that a local can do. In the road sector, in the water sector, in the built environment sector, these are the people. These are the things. If we're able to do, all engineers will get something to do immediately after school. They have the principles, and then after that they will start working in the industry and they will gain the necessary experience.
Thank you, engineer. I think generally all over the world, and I'm saying this because I am at the same time an academician, a researcher for that matter.
Yes.
And I've seen different curriculums all over. Somehow, engineers are offered C++ because the basic understanding of C++ can be used in any other programming field. The knowledge that I got, I did using Visual Basic, but after Visual Basic, I learned the others myself. C++, MATLAB, Python, and others, I learned them myself. So the idea is to give somebody a way out to be able to understand the programming idea. But when you go out, you might find yourself working in other programs. Like I never used some of the programs, but when I got out of the university, I learned some of the programs by the fact that I'm required to learn them. on work. So
yeah, and that is exactly my point. Engineering undergraduate degree gives you the principles. Once you get into the industry and you get the correct mentorship, you get the correct platform to start working, you'll learn whatever you need. It's just basically, let me tell you, like mechanical engineering is a very wide course, mechanical engineering, because some people will go into the built environment, some will go into HVAC, some will go into power generation. But the principles you are given are the ones that are able to make you get into that industry. So, yeah. So I support you. I support you on that.
All right. Thank you, Engineer, for that. Engineer Correa, do you have a question?
Yeah.
Engineer Correa? Hello, Engineer Correa. So, Engineer, as we wait for Engineer Correa, maybe he's not. What is your say about all members of the society voting? And by this, I don't mean only graduate engineers. People are talking so much about graduate engineers, but in my opinion, I think all members of the society should vote. I can give you an example. I am a member of electrical chamber, the Chamber of Electrical Engineers of Turkey. I'm a member there because I've done some projects there. And when they were having elections, the students, I've interacted with some professors, and I know the students were sent, they voted. Yeah. Why is it that in Kenya, we have members of the society, even if the constitution says we are in the 21st century, and since 2015, the implementation of the review constitution, which even the electronic voting is not in the constitution, but through SGM meeting, members were able to adopt that. Let's have electronic voting, right? If we had that provision of such a manner, why has it taken us from 2015, 3 elections, we are not having members voting, other members allowed to vote? That is one. Secondly, I am of the opinion that we should change our voting system. We should not vote necessarily for national membership the way it is. I think we should have, instead of, we should have all counties as branches, whereby we will have engineers who are based, say, in Nairobi there, and the people there, they can vote for that branch as it is. Or for the time being, because we are starting, if we divide the Kenya in the former 8 provinces, for example, and say Rift Valley is divided into 2, north and south. So we say we have nine branches. And we have members actively voting there for local leadership and for national leadership. And each of the local branches will send one person to the National Council to represent their ideas. Are you seeing the idea?
Yeah, I can see your idea.
So
I can see. Yeah.
Why is it taking us 3 elections down the road? The online voting thing started, even the review of the constitution started in 2014, 2015. Nothing has come. 2016, it was watered down. Nobody wanted to hear about it. Some of us who attended the meeting, I think Engineer Howard was the one who remained in Mombasa in the field talking about it, and Engineer Uma. And until they were told to shut up, that they have spoken a lot, and it's enough. And then when you talk about then 2018, we know what happened. People are saying they were rigged out. We have 2 members still in court on this issue. Why is it taking us long if we were able to agree on something that is not even in the constitution to have electronic voting? Why and what can we do so that the next election, we will not have animosities of the bigger majority of people being locked out of voting? We have so many graduate engineers and they're not voting.
Okay, Ndolo, you are aware that currently all the branch chairmen are members of the main council.
Yes.
So you have the Western chapter, Coast chapter, Central chapter. They are members of the main council.
Yes.
I haven't done maybe a lot of research on the system you're talking about, that so that you only have the branch chapter chairs being the members of the main council. So that one I haven't researched.
No. I'm saying
If members,
I'm saying we can vote for national, but at the same time, the branches have to agree, or we write it in the constitution that the chairperson there, or the secretary down in the group, in the local chapter, can also sit in the council representing the local chapter. You get it? But we can vote like the way we have a national system when we vote for president and MPs, that there is, you get the idea. We send them all to Nairobi in the parliament, but we also have the council, the local assemblies. But we can find a way of having everybody. But the chapters we have right now are not catering for every Kenyan. That is a fact.
Yes, and I think there's an aspirant who explained, I don't know if it was Engineer Ogayo or Engineer Matalanga. He said you can only give a chapter where it is needed. So let's say you have Garissa and that region, and there is nobody who has requested, maybe because there are not enough numbers for them to create a chapter. So currently the chapters are given depending on the number of if the members request, they are given a chapter. That is what is happening. And on the question of voting and who is supposed to vote for the council, and if the council should be voted from the ground, I think this is going to be handled through the constitution review process that is happening. If a suggestion like that can come from a member, and most members feel that is what is supposed to happen, that members going to the National Council of IEK should come from the ground, then I think because the constitution review is going to happen, that is what will happen. So it is a question of IEK is a welfare society, is a member society. We do what members want. The issue of GE voting, I've attended a few AGMs and SGMs. I've not had it come up. I think the last time it came up maybe in 2016 or 2018. I was not there, so I didn't know what really aspired. But if members requested, like the way members requested for electronic voting, and it was approved that the electronic voting should be done, then whatever happens in IEK is member-driven. So if we want leaders, national leaders to be elected from mashinani, then the constitution review will be happening. I think in the next council, we'll do the constitution review because the process has already started. And this will come in, and members will decide, let us vote for the national leaders from mashinani. And if members agree unanimously or whichever, they vote, then it is adopted. That is my opinion, I think.
Noted, engineer, noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Engineer Corey, do you have a question? All right, engineer, I think in the absence of question, unless you have something to add, you can add it, but then you give us a short parting shot and also a pitch. And you can pour your heart out to voters and see what they will do for you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. As I said, I forgot to mention, I'm in the private sector. I'm a director of Energy Intelligence Africa, employed 6 engineers. And since formation in 2015, I think around 12 engineers have been able to go through my company. I think it's also important for members to know that, so that they know they're also dealing with someone who has been tried and tested in terms of leadership. And apart from the issues I've talked about, my focus areas of course being amplifying member participation and visibility, implementation of the strategic plan, revamped mentorship, and digitalized services. There's a lot of issues also affecting engineers, which I'm going to try and push when I get into the council. And that is things like IBK scale of fees, because right now there's cutthroat competition in the industry. Our engineers, we are undercutting ourselves. So we'll try to push for this. There's also working with other institutions like the Technologist Institution, National Union of Engineers, Kenya National, led by Martin Aluga. And then issue of unregistered engineers and unaccredited university. That is also an issue I will really try to lobby and sit down with the regulator and see how we can solve. It is very unfair for a student, a top performer from high school. Some of them, we come from very humble backgrounds. When we were choosing courses, you never knew when you are joining a university, the course you are joining is not accredited. And then you join and you're told that. So it's something that I really feel sad, and I'll try to lobby with my fellow council members, and also to lobby with the EBK, so that it is a structured approach. There is no personalization of accreditation of universities. It should be structured. And then there's also the issue of the high number of foreign players in engineering in Kenya. That is also what I will try to push through all the policy making and lobbying and tactical lobbying. And then the unity of engineers and bringing on board all engineers, technologists, unregistered engineers, students, and all those. I'll try to do that. And then there's also currently there's a bit of lack of proper communication from IEK to its members. So it's one of the areas I also try to make sure we do better in terms of whatever is done by IEK is communicated to members and non-members, people who might be interested in engineering matters. I'll try to push for that. Otherwise, I want to say I'm a person of, I do my things with a very visionary, passionate, and I'm willing to give service. In the private sector, if they were, I served in the mentorship committee. I think I attended almost 80 to 90% of all the meetings. I was very active. I've been to IEK South Rift. I was in Mombasa. I was in the water seminar. So when I'm gunning for this, I know I'm available to serve engineers, and I will do my best to make sure we elevate IEK and make ourselves visible and seen. Otherwise, Ndolo, thank you for hosting me. And it's been really good. I was a bit nervous before, but I think it was easy. Now I think we can do much more if you feel like doing this in future. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Actually, I'm hoping that after the elections, I will be able to host a PIP. You can prepare the slides, so I will allow you to present them the slides so that you can teach students and graduate engineers some of the things that are required outside there. You can do a small PIP. We will see how it will go.
Thank you.
Otherwise, thank you for agreeing for being my guest, and I hope and wish you all the best in the forthcoming election. And I only request that we respect some boundaries about each other. We have some decorum in our campaign, because we are professionals, and I wish you all the best.
Yes.
Thank you, members, for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, let me
Robert Coril just came back.
Coril, let me connect you back in 1 minute, please. Let me save this one, then we can a small session so that you can have a meeting. Okay.
Okay.
Just 1 minute. We connect back.